Greetings, everyone. So today I want to talk about why most black businesses fail within the first 12 months. You heard me. That's right. Most black businesses fail within the first 12 months. So let's get in right away with this. One of the biggest reasons are the alpha male female syndrome, where everyone wants to be in charge. No one wants to take the rope, wants to fall back and actually be guy or girl number two, take a supporting role while someone else is the director or CEO. Everyone wants to be the director or CEO. So then what happens is things fall apart because, you can only have one chief per tribe, pardon me. So, and that's one of the main reasons why black businesses fail. Another reason is no research. No research. And I can tell you from my experiences in speaking to a lot of black people that I knew that wanted to start a business, is they would always want to jump in something once they see someone else is doing it. I'll give you a good example. So when all these rappers started getting into fashion and getting into releasing alcohol beverages, I can count, it would take me maybe a good 10 hands to count or do a search on the internet to find black fashion makers. They were popping up. They were growing on trees. So I actually knew two people personally. I knew one girl who would spend money and rent venues in Manhattan, and she would do the whole clothing line and hire models to walk through with her clothing. But it didn't even last a year. I knew a guy, too, who was ready to quit his 9-to-5 job. He got into fashion making. He would wear his own clothes to work. And he just didn't really, there was nothing special about what he was wearing. I mean, I could have found that on anyone. So, and they didn't do the research to find out that the fashion industry is one of the hardest industries to break into. And you even find that on Shark Tank. You find Damon would always say that. And also the other Shark Tank members, they would always step away. They back off anyone that was getting into fashion because they knew it was a hard industry to break in, especially if you had no expertise, especially if you didn't know anyone and you didn't have any connections. So Damon would always take on those projects, and he rarely did. Another reason is insufficient funds. We know that when it comes to a lot of black businesses just going to banks, because of where they live, based on zip codes, they would always be redlined. So they can't get the funding that, let's say, a Chinese business owner would get, or entrepreneur would get, or Jewish, or European, or even Latino. And it's not just the redlining; it's the fact that blacks don't start enough businesses. So it's odd. It's more high risk from the investors, and it's very high risk because a lot of times, if you're looking at those numbers that they fail within the first 12 months, why would you want to invest your money? Why would you want to risk your money with a black business? So the failure, so that's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of black businesses fail. Another reason is family member, not business partner, could be another big reasons. And what I mean by that is sometimes with a lot of black entrepreneurs is just because you get along with someone well doesn't make them a good business partner. So, and then there's always this sense that they always have to look back for they always have to look back and help their fellow man that they were close to. It makes them a sellout. So a lot of times they'll have their homeboy or their homegirl, their sister. I love you, sister. You're going to the top with me mindset, and that doesn't mean this person is cut out for business. They may be better off on the sideline. So when you trust, just because you trust that someone on a friendship level, on a social level, doesn't mean that you should trust them with your business. They can be high risk, and it's the numbers are the proof. Also, just no consistency in vision. No consistency in vision. So let's say today, this person wants to start off making, let's say, a knockoff of a particular Jordan sneaker, and they're going to go with this. Then tomorrow they see trends change, and they immediately change their vision based on the trends. They're not consistent with anything until they follow it through, right? So that's another reason. Also, Another big reason is the failure of diversifying their products. Meaning that you find, I'm going to use Nike again, great example. Nike has probably over 1 billion different styles of sneakers. They try to make something for everyone. I don't think there's a demographic on the planet that can't look at a Nike selection and find something that fits their taste. And even when you're, let's say, on a micro level, a small business owner, a lot of times with black businesses, they'll specialize in one thing. So let's say we're going to make Keisha's sweet potato pies. So what happens if you get tired of eating Keisha's sweet potato pies? What else is there? Right? So unless if you don't eat sweet potato pies, she's not getting your business. If you don't know someone that eats sweet potato pie, she's not getting your business. So what they could do is diversify it, make apple, sweet potato, peach cobbler. I'm just using an example to diversify your products, right? So if you're gonna go to fashion industry, don't just stick with clothing. Then why not make shades, right? Since there's so many people, since the fashion industry is so clogged and cluttered with competition, do cufflinks. Do ties, do belts. You get what I'm saying? And also another reason is just lack of experience. You see, fortunately, some of us who have gone to school, have started businesses very young, I've done both. You get to make your mistakes and learn the ropes and learn what to steer clear from before you take someone else's money and gamble it. A lot of times with a lot of black businesses is they don't have the experience. And when they take someone else's money and jump into an industry they have no experience in and they fail, now you have someone that's in debt. The business goes under, now you're in debt. You've learned a lesson that it's hard to come back from. Now you've got to wait 4 to 7 years for your credit to be cleaned up before you can jump back in business, right? A lot of black entrepreneurs can't just pick up the phone and call an uncle to get funding, to get right back in business. Like this guy, Kevin Trudeau, if you look him up, this guy's been arrested so many times from running so many different financial scams, and all of them have probably generated him over $100 million before the FBI catches up with him. And what he would do is once he got in trouble and he had to shut down, once they sent him a letter to cease selling his product or promoting what he's doing, he would stop and then borrow money from someone else and then jump right back into business, and make another $100 million. Also, another reason is, and I find this one to be the biggest, is failure to provide good customer service. God, I can't tell you how many black businesses I've walked into where the customer service is horrible. I won't name the West Indian chain, but very popular one that sells Caribbean food. I remember going into one. I was visiting my parents one weekend, and I decided to go in and get myself a chicken patty. When I came in, the cashier, the clerk at the front, was on the phone. And I'm standing there at the counter. There's no one else in the store, just us, on the phone the whole time. And then she rolls her eyes at me and says, "Can I help you?" As if I'm bothering her. I'll tell you another example. I've gone into some of these stores, black-owned businesses, and there's another restaurant I've gone into. The guy behind the counter just looked at me and gave me this look like he wanted to jump over the counter and fight me. Didn't know him from Adam, didn't know him from a hole in the wall. I remember one time in a restaurant, the woman was taking my order. Her girlfriend or some female she knew walked in behind me. She stopped taking my order. Mid-sentence, they said, "Oh, come, what do you want?" You know, I'm doing the accent, right? To take her friend's order. I mean, just terrible customer service. And me with leadership experience, I can't, and I'm going to say this, I always had to monitor my black female employees' phone calls when they took customer care calls. I always had to monitor their phone calls because a lot of the escalations I got was always from your rep was very rude. I remember one of my reps was speaking to a customer in Texas, And it's very common for Texans to call each other sweetie and honey and sugar dumpling. So she just called the girl. She just said, "Thank you so much, sweetie." And the black girl, my rep, says, "My name ain't Sweetie. It's," and then said her name. And I said, "Oh, give me your manager." Right? So this is one of the many experiences. I'm sure there are plenty of men out there and women, people of all demographics out there that have encountered the rude black woman at the counter over the phone, unfortunately. All right. So, and I'm going to say the last reason I would say why, just a minute, I'm just checking my phone here. Make sure the volume isn't off. I mean, the volume is off. I get all these alerts. Is failure to market online. A lot of black businesses, a lot of black entrepreneurs don't want to spend money on marketing online. They're always thinking about TV. They're always thinking about radio. The problem with radio advertisement, I think, is the biggest waste of money, because if it's not a popular restaurant or clothing store or retail store like Macy's, Bloomingdale's, or Target, Kmart, those companies do very well with radio advertising. Same thing like Applebee's, TGIF's, restaurants that are chains, they do well with radio advertisements. But niche market products do not do well with radio advertisement. So that's a big mistake that a lot of black businesses make, is not utilizing online marketing, not putting some money aside to run a campaign on Twitter, not putting money aside to run a campaign on Instagram, which has algorithms that could target your target audience and hit them with those ads. So you're not just wasting money throwing like an airwave, just blasting an ad out there, hoping somebody will hear it and patronize your product. You're wasting money. And a lot of black businesses don't want to spend money on making a nice website. If you've ever gone to Macy's website and tried to look up cologne, or you ever try to go to Adidas website or Foot Locker's website, their websites are very organized. It's set up to where you can find exactly what you're looking for. Not to mention they have all their promotions right on the front page. On the landing page, you see what their latest promotions are. So we can maybe look at some of that. Everyone can look at that and learn from it. So I would say with black businesses, when you start a business, put aside a certain amount a month to market online. So that's it for this. I hope you like this post. Of course, you can like, share, follow, or subscribe. Thank you.